Good day, everyone. Thank you for coming to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about Moe's poem, and in extension, I guess the mental approach to the game. Like, you know, I don't want to sound too religious or anything, but I do study ancient history, and I have to say that the society that we live in is an evolutionist society. And in such society that we're in, there are certain assumptions. Now, I don't want to necessarily talk about something not related to golf, but in related to golf, I'm sure you guys have definitely heard this where you go to coach A, you just spend $60 an hour on a lesson. And then, it doesn't really help you. I mean, he told you you got to do this. And then you go to a different coach and spend another $60. And then he tells you, oh, no, 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 you should never do that. You should do this. And you're like, oh, okay. And then now you go to another coach and they'd be like, oh, dude, the first two guys were dumbasses. You should do it like this. Now you're like, what the hell? I mean, this is an experience that every golfer goes through. And I went through this experience as well until I met Moe Norman. And, I guess I want to say, don't let anybody tell you that you're not perfect. From my studies, I know that we have been created with perfection. Why? Because look at yourselves. You have two eyes, nose, a mouth, 2 ears. I mean, physical hardware wise, every human is identical. There's nothing that's different. And in itself, it's amazing. And I mean, when you look at the human regeneration power, like how our human body heals, it's another mystery. The modern science, the Western medicine has not, solved its mystery. It's a really crazy thing if you think about it. So the power of our human body and the physical hardware of it, it's perfect. It's created so perfectly. And I definitely believe evolution did happen, but in the beginning we were definitely created. Because if not, I mean, if we just go by the evolutionism theory, and just so I know, theory is just a fancy word for an opinion. So if you go by evolutionist theory, you should we should all be like random. Like, I mean, for survival of the fittest, but still. Like, how are we so identical? How are we so 100% same from one another, hardware, physical wise? Evolutionist theory cannot explain that. So, I'm a believer and a firm prover that we are perfect. And when it comes to golf teaching, one thing I hate the most is that there's an assumption. Like, as you go to the coach, there's an assumption that you're feeble, that you're broken, and that you must be repaired. It's like, excuse the fuck me, why? Like, why am I so wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? It's a very weakening and very it just makes you feel stupid, you know what I mean? And I hate it. Like Mo always said it, losers always look down, winners always look up. And a lot of the golf teachings start out with an assumption that you're a loser. And I totally disagree with that. I don't accept that. No, that's bullshit. We're perfect, we're amazing beings. And you should never let anyone else make you feel anything less than that. And Moe Norman is a proof of it. Like, he was autistic because of the accident at 6 years old. But despite that, he overcame all these obstacles and became the best ball striker in the world. And he only believed in the positivity. Yes, there were times he was negative too when he was young and couldn't really deal with his autism in relation to the society. But that never stopped him. He was always positive, and he just kept looking up. He never looked down. And I think in his poem, this golf is happiness. Like, I love this poem. Like, when I first read this, I cried a lot. It's a really, really touching poem. And I want to recite this poem to you guys. I'm sure you guys might have already read it, but Mo said this too. Like, a person hitting 140, like 140 on the score, right? It's a horrible score, right? And such a person, probably would be cussing, throwing the clubs, or, breaking their shaft and just going crazy at the course, right? Such a person may be very unhappy and just all that stuff. And then, you take a person who's in prison, and that person in prison would love to be that person hitting that 140, being out there in the nature, in the woods, walking in a nice weather, being free, and be happy about it. I mean, it's an idea of objectivity and subjectivity here, but I mean, look, give a same situation, right? You're hitting 140, you're playing horrible golf, and then two different people would have two different results. One person would be very upset, and the other person would be ecstatic. Like, what the hell? I mean, think about that for a second. It's the same situation, but two different results, right? So, with that in mind, golf is happiness. So, what is happiness? Golf is happiness, for happiness is an achievement. The father is motivation, the mother is encouragement. The fine golf swing is truly an achievement. Men may lie, steal, and cheat for gain, but that will never gain a golf swing. To gain a golf swing, men must work. Yet it is work without toil. It is exercise without the boredom. It is intoxication without the hangover. It is stimulation without the pills. It is failure, yet its success shines even more brightly. It is frustration, yet it nourishes patience. It irritates, yet it is soothing, is far greater. It is futility, yet it nurtures hope. It is defeating, yet it generates courage. It is humbling, yet it enables the human spirit. It is dignity, yet it rejects arrogance. Its price is high, yet its rewards are richer. Some say it is boys' pastime, yet it builds men. It is a buffer for the stresses of today's living. It cleanses the mind and rejuvenates the body. It is these things and many more for those of us who know it and love it. Golf is truly a happiness. I mean, I think, a lot of people just play golf just for playing, smoking cigars, smoking weed, smoking cig out there, drinking beer. I don't do any of that. Like, when I go out to play, I really play. I want to do better. And all these things that Moe just said, in this poem, I'm sure many of you can really empathize with this. Golf is truly a happiness. And, you should not be mad at the course. Imagine, of those prisoners, and a lot of those sad prisoners who shouldn't be there. Like, those, especially, those black folks who's been wrongly accused and serving like 20, 30 years in prison. I mean, such a sad reality in America. And, like, those people would love to be out there shooting 200 so that they could just walk around free without any guards right next to them. And yet, in the same situation, I can see like a white folk smoking a cigar and breaking a club, and I've seen it. So it's like, what to be so mad about? You should never be mad. You should always be happy, like Moe said. Golf is happiness. So I hope, before you go out there, just have this mental approach. Like, you're a wonderful being. You're an amazing being, and you're a perfect being. Don't let this society, this evolutionist society tell you that you're feeble and you're broken, because you're not. And it's wrong for the society to tell you that. And I hope you can find this truth within you. And like I always said in my other videos too, if you can walk, you already have an amazing golf swing. So just go find it. Just pull that golf swing out of you and just, use it on the course. I mean, you can walk. Boom, game over. I mean, we should all be shooting singles, really. I mean, but we're not. Why? It's a sad reality, but I hope this poem could help you in your mental game and just kind of change your approach in golf too. But anyways, that's all for me. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please let me know.